What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? We are back with Star Wars Outlaws. My wonderful commentary is back, and let us dance in the fires that is Ubisoft.
So, Danka, got more work for me?
Maybe. You got an ion blaster? I need someone to hit a stash for me, but you'll need one to get inside.
I can mod my blaster. Been doing it for years. Just need the parts.
You know what? I got a contact, a Pantoran named Bilo. Owns a pawn shop nearby. I'll tell him you're coming.
Really? I mean, thanks, Danka.
Yeah. You get that blaster working, call me. And Kay, I'm not the only one who'll give you work. Take a breath, ask around. There's always some action to find out here.
So as I said, essentially right now, Ubisoft is in fucking flames. There's a part of me that's like, oh, those poor bastards. Because I loved Ubisoft at the time. So there was a time that they were just dropping bangers, you know, early Assassin's Creed. 3 kinda isn't looked. Remember when everybody was like, oh, Assassin's Creed is so boring now. 3 was so bad. Yeah, remember those days? Yeah, I bet people wish we could go back to that. And I still liked Assassin's Creed 3.
Hey, you Bilo? Danka sent me.
Ah, yes. I heard you were coming.
Yeah, man, I loved Assassin's Creed 3. It was Revelations that I thought was the really boring one, but whatever. But yeah, remember that time where everybody was like, "Oh, Assassin's Creed it's over, it's done, it sucks now." And then they came out with Black Flag and it was a fucking banger. And then we had Unity, which, okay, in Unity's defense.
Great. And,
they fixed it.
Got any ion energy converters for blasters?
You're new around here. Those aren't legal. Only syndicates have hardware like that.
Oh, okay, right.
Like I said,
Waka,
in their defense, they fixed it.
Black market
Kind of like
for my blaster?
Cyberpunk and CD Projekt.
You're gonna have to steal that. Either from the Pikes or Crimson Dawn. If they trust you, they'll let you walk right into their turf. But if they don't...
I gotta keep it quiet. I get it.
Oh my god, man. But I think after about Unity, it was Unity... So which one was... Syndicate was right after Unity, which, hey, was actually when I started this channel. With AC Syndicate. I still liked Syndicate. I don't care what anyone says. I liked Syndicate. Even though Syndicate did kind of start the whole, oh, hey, we're going to have dual protagonists. Which, okay, it worked for Syndicate. With the twins and everything, that was cool. You know, then we got Bayek, and then it had to be, oh, now you have to play as male or female,
hey, Waka, you know where Pikes
Cassandra
would keep
or...
parts?
Oh, yeah.
Was it Alexios? The male.
That was before they fired me. There's a hole in their security. Just look for a vent.
Yeah, the whatever the male from Odyssey was. I still hate Odyssey. People try and sell me that one was good, and I do not see it. You know, then we had Valhalla, which was kind of okay. But again, it's like, oh, but now you got to pick the gender of your character. God, just make a character and stick with it. Now we're back to dual protagonists, which has completely started this downfall for Ubisoft. Well, okay, it hasn't started this downfall. It accelerated the downfall with what they're doing with AC Shadow, and we'll get that AC Shadow later. But right now, I want to talk this game. Because again, I still keep seeing keep seeing YouTubers putting up, this game's god-awful, this game's god-awful. I still don't see it. I will say, it was about at this point in time where the game kind of starts opening up that I'm like, oh, this should not have been an open world. because I don't hate the open world aspect of this, but just something about the planet, something about something just wasn't clicking with me. It wasn't fun, and I'm playing with this combat style, and I'm just sitting here going, this game should have been a linear experience.
I have the part. You got a workshop or something I can use?
I'll do you one better. There's a workbench on the Trailblazer I got up and running. I've also moved her to a proper dock at a settlement called Jauntus Hope. Somewhere nicer, more comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this game should have been one of two things. It should have been a linear experience. Well, I guess both of these aren't mutually exclusive. I think this game should have been a linear experience, and maybe with some more like open-ended maps. Think Star Wars Bounty Hunter. I think that would have really made this game something. Oh yeah, you get to watch me I'm doing terribly at the hacking. But yeah, I think it was a Some Ordinary Gamers video where he brought up a really, I think, good point, where he said this game is essentially has gameplay that we expected out of a game in 2013. He's like, I mean, and I'm sitting there thinking about it, I'm like, well, that's because he's like, well, you know, they're just trying to be Uncharted, and I'm like, well, it makes sense, seeing that Amy Hennig tried to make that game back in like 2013. Like, I think this game this has been a situation where this game is swapped through so many hands, so they're trying to throw in that Ubisoft open world approach to an Uncharted game set in the Star Wars world, actually created by somebody talented and then pulled away from somebody talented, but the base idea stuck around and was given to hacks. I think that is the problem, and that is how we ended up with this game just being generic as shit at best. That's my take. Sounds mean, but that's my take. And at this point, I thought we'd be back into. No, you know what? No. I'm not gonna get into the Ubisoft stuff just yet, or the Assassin's Creed stuff just yet, because I don't wanna have to break up my thoughts based on dialogue and everything. Let's just watch for a bit, and we'll get into that giant flaming bag of poop in a bit. I don't know why I wanted to keep in me exfilling out of that air. Oh, it's just past these two just random stormtroopers.
I guess this is life for us now, huh, Nix? We're on our own. Like, really on our own. With a death mark. But we can lose it. Just need to make enough to survive. Until we land a score so big, nobody can hold us back. Ever. We set for life.
Yeah, I want to like the open world aspects of this. I really do, because I like moving around in the speeder. I like the visuals of the world, or at least on this planet. My problem comes. I'm trying to think how I want to say this.
Jauntus Hope. Okay, so this is where Waka brought the Trailblazer.
I think what Ubisoft needs to do is dial back how much just random crap is in the overworld.
Waka's been busy.
If that makes sense.
Waka, you did this all yourself?
Uh-huh. It's hard work, but it'll all be worth it when she hits the atmosphere and soars.
Yeah. You ready for those fuel injectors yet?
No, no. Soon. Hold on to them for now. Pricey parts can disappear around here.
So what I mean by
There's the workbench.
what I mean by that, what I mean by they need to hold off on all this crap is I think Ubisoft needs to go back to basics. Look, I love The Witcher. That map is covered with little question marks and everything, and it worked. Just something about that world. It was fun to explore. It was just something about it was fun. Of just sometimes you find a treasure chest, sometimes it's a horde of monsters, sometimes because I feel like every time I went there, I was getting something. I was at least finding either an item to sell. I was finding valuables. I was finding a weapon, an item. I was finding a new monster to fight, because in that game, finding new monsters and having a fun battle was an experience in and of itself. With this game, a gunfight or a stealth section is just it's just an obstacle, and I think that's been my biggest problem with taking over encampments or infiltrating places in Ubi games
My
lately.
blaster's good to go. You gonna give me that job now?
Yeah, Philo mentioned you'd stop by. I'll send you the location of the stash. Get inside and take what's in there.
All right, I can do that.
Good. Find me in Jonta's Hope when you're done.
But yeah, it doesn't feel like I think this is stuff for the Crimson Dawn, for boosting their relationship with us.
Now that's nice.
That's the problem. Ubisoft has turned. It's like, ooh, well, there's items inside this base, and you can infiltrate and get them. Well, it's a chore. It's just, okay, I'll go in there and I'll take out the group of idiots. Ooh, you could do it stealth, but why? I'll just go in, take it, and be done. Unlike something like The Witcher, which made you want to roleplay and get into the shoes of Geralt. Or even earlier Ubisoft games. The little points on the map or whatever were a mini game.
Yep.
They were something to find. But now it's just turned out, oh hey, here's a little question mark. You found a treasure. I'm like, okay, but is it like with this game? I'm like, I don't know what I'm picking up half the time. Is it an upgrade material? Is it a valuable just to sell? Why was this a mark? Sometimes it's, why the hell is this a mark on the map? Like there's something under that landing pad here in Jonta's Hope. And I'm like, why the fuck is this a question mark listed thing? Like I maybe got an upgrade material. Okay. And it's not even like a rare upgrade material. It's just why is it here? Why is it marked on the map? You just put this point on the map for no reason? I think that's my biggest problem. It's just it has become a chore to explore their open worlds. I remember, again, back in the day, Ubisoft games were just, it's every time you see a question mark, you wanted to go there because it would be something like, think Black Flag. It's like, ooh, there's a new whaling spot. There's a fight with a pirate ship. There's, ooh, this little settlement that I can sneak in and I can steal a bunch of stuff and I can be a pirate. And it fit with the theme and it was just fun. Again, the earlier Far Cry games, specifically for the ones that got me into the franchise, 3 and 4, where just infiltrating outposts was so ridiculously fun.
Ooh, that capacitor looks dead.
And I think maybe some of it might just be
this
the
is where
fact that I don't
needed
think
the ion
Ubisoft ever really wanted to evolve. They just essentially took their model, and we have been playing this model since probably about 2012. I think there's a lot of problems just with what Ubisoft has been doing. I think I kind of closed my eyes and went, no, I don't see it, for a long time. But this has been something that's been building up. And right now, it's at the point where I can't unsee it.
There we go.
I hope this rant makes some
Guess
semblance
I'll
of
just
sense.
take these then.
And essentially kind of finish that rant. I think all leads to what makes this game generic. I'll give them some credit here. Jesus Christ! Every time you call the speeder, I'm always like, where the hell's it coming from? Because I think it's gonna hit me. But I think this is why this game, I think, just ends up being so generic. It so far hasn't had all the stupid DEI shit where it's trying to sell me on, I think as Critical Drinker puts it, the message, quote unquote. It's not trying to do anything like that. It's, I guess, again, you could argue in modern day parlance, well, just the fact that they put a badass female main character, well, I haven't felt very much girl bossing out of Kay. I don't dislike her as a protagonist. I think her story's interesting. I think I think her story would fit better into a more linear experience, but just generally, I think this game is just a showcase.
Dunka.
Is
Hey,
the best
here's what
showcase
I
of
got.
where
Some sort of tracking transponder.
Ubisoft is at
Bunch
right
of credits,
now.
too.
Keep 'em. Wasn't after those anyway. Huts didn't want to pay tribute. So now, instead of their little cash, this transponder will lead them straight to me.
Remind me not to get on your bad side.
Don't worry. I'm good to those I can trust. Which is why I'm gonna give you a tip.
A tip? Like, more money?
No, something better. I got some friends who could help you out. Get you a better slicing kit. Rig that speeder of yours. You'll have to track him down yourself, but that should be enough to get you started.
Thanks. I mean, information is more valuable than credits, right?
You can keep those little revelations to yourself. Talk soon, kid.
But yeah, but I think what makes this game so mediocre is the fact that it's essentially everything that has been like the slipping scale of Ubisoft. This is like the best they can manage, and their best is meh. And I think that's sad. Their best is meh, and their worst is Shadows. We'll get into it. Again, I'm waiting for till after we actually get into the actual main mission of what we're doing here. So what we're seeing here, let's actually talk about let's stop talking about like kind of the meta shit, and let's actually talk about what's going on in game here. So essentially we have connections, and again, I kind of like how this intel system works. I think it could be better, but okay.
Hey.
How it works in rumors and how it pushes exploration, and in this case, it's leading us to more contacts that kind of boosts this game's skill tree.
Novak is the best bike modder on this side of the Hydian, but she's not keen on strangers.
That's okay. Neither am I.
She hasn't been around lately. Maybe her friends in Kadua know where she is.
Kadua. Yeah, that's,
Just outside Mirogana. It's a wind fishing settlement.
right. Wind fishing. Obviously.
See, I think if anything, what this would have been I think something that would have been cooler for this would have been instead of...
Okay, I'm ready for those injectors. Bring them to me, and then we should be able to fly.
Finally. All right, I'm on my way.
Instead of this being your skill tree, essentially your skill tree with
Cargo sled.
finding all these
over
different
there next?
experts or whatever. Okay, that's kind of cute of, it's the
I'm
bartender
with you,
at the
buddy.
original was kind of like her little base set of skills for the getting into the underworld, and the speeder tech is going to be very much a lot of her things you can do on your things you can do on your speeder, and the slicer is going to give you
there you are.
a skill tree involved with the splicing. Okay, that's
out here.
cool, but I think these experts would be much better suited to essentially doing like a Mass Effect. We're recruiting people for a crew that's going to help Vess down the line. So, it's like we have our getaway driver and our hacker, and we're going to have a gunslinger, and we're going to have all these different members, and we're going to create this big crew flying around on our ship, and we're going to go take bigger and badder jobs and kind of do what Grand Theft Auto 5 did with its heists. I think that would have worked a lot better. I don't hate this skill system that they're doing with this game, but I think it would have made more... I think the concept would have worked better if we were recruiting them to come on our ship, and we're going to go out and, then you can use them for different parts of different jobs, and maybe it would open up new paths, maybe it would open up new escape routes or whatever. And again, where it would maybe work for... I guess in what I'm pitching, it's that would be still open world as opposed to this idea of a more linear based game that I'm talking about. I don't know. I mean, I do think it would work better. I think it would work better. Yeah, whatever I'm saying. I think it would work better if you were essentially recruiting the people instead of talking to them, having like a little side quest, and then unlocking a skill tree. It's my opinion.
Let's hope that bike modder's around here. Wind fishing. That must be Kadua.
You're watching Love on Deck 5. This ship is a lot fancier than I thought, Captain. But there's one thing I would change.
Change? That's impossible!
Every night, I'm sitting alone in the dining room. I'm the most famous singer in the Corps, but no one ever asks me to dinner.
Well, we can't have that. Will you do me the honor tonight?
Why, Captain, are you asking me out on a date?
I believe I am.
Well, fine. But make sure your chief officer knows. I'm trying to make her jealous.
Aw, look at you. Hey, this is Kadua, right?
Maybe. What's an off-worlder like you doing here?
I'm looking for Silo Rovac.
Why? You Empire?
No. I heard she can rig my speeder.
CeeLo left. We don't know where she is.
Can't believe you're still protecting her after what she did. Well, I'm not. She's living cliffside, near Jaunter's Hope.
Got it. John does hope. Are you Silo? I need to kick up the power on my speeder.
I don't work with off-worlders anymore. But you look like you're out of options. Got a name?
Right, sorry. It's Kay. Kay Vess.
I can help you, Kay. But if you want a real kick, I'll need a part. An atmospheric accelerator. The imps have one in their wind harvester.
I mean, why don't I just steal it for you then?
Oh, yeah? Then take these. They'll power down the turbine, and that's your way in.
All right, sounds good. I'll take care of it and meet you back here.
I'll send the coordinates.
So, I don't know what was going on here. And maybe at some point in development, like they were actually supposed to kind of be like creating a crew or something to bring on like space heists or something down the line. And the reason I say that is because there's some weird sexual tension that goes down between Kay and the speeder tech. Like, it's almost like, were they supposed to, like, originally join forces, and there's, like, a little
Hey, Silo,
thing going on between it? Is weird.
Mag disruptors. Just secure them to the circuit panel near the turbine.
Guess I probably could have figured that out.
Oh, and they're low capacity, so the charge might not last.
All right. Let's go, Nix.
And the gay thing isn't what's weird. The weird thing is that with this character that we're probably only going to see for a total of, like, 5 minutes. Like, why? What was the point of this flirtation? 'Cause that's not Kay's character.
Those charges didn't really last. I'm past the turbine, but now my exit's blocked.
Shouldn't be a problem for you, though. I mean, you are really good at this.
No, yeah, I am. You just think there'd be an easier way to get an atmospheric accelerator.
Actually, I only made the one. It's in the converter room at the top of the harvester.
The Empire stole it?
I gave it to them. In exchange for some off-world parts. I didn't know they'd use it to divert the winds and cut off our farmers.
Well, the good news is they won't have it for much longer.
All right, so now that we're pretty much done with a lot of the talky bits, let's talk about the elephant in the room. So, I made a few mentions here of Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadow and how it's a giant dumpster fire. Well, if you didn't know, AC Shadow has been delayed. And I'm not really sure how it broke down from when it got delayed to when Monster Hunter Wilds got its announcement. But now, instead of coming out in November, AC Shadow is coming out about a couple weeks before the new Monster Hunter game, which just makes me sit and go, oh, I really hope they did that before Wilds, because if they thought, oh yeah, let's compete with Monster Hunter Wilds, it's a stupid decision.
Could have used a few more of those mag disruptors.
If they thought, oh, well, we're just going to move it to February, and then Monster Hunter comes out and, announces their date, and then they go, shit. Okay, I can understand that
Nice
at least.
job, Nix.
But, oh my god, I can't believe that they're announcing this delay. I'm like, how is the game not ready? And, like, we've seen vertical slices of it and everything. Like, okay, so what are you going to fix? It's got to be bug fixing. Like, that's got to be what you're doing. Or, I dear God, I hope they aren't dumb enough to try and make wholesale changes to the game's narrative. Oh, you're going to see me just totally mistime this for a little bit because I'm not sure. I'm like, are these fans just blowing me away every time I, like, get close? Or is it on a timer? It's on a timer. It's just, I was being impatient. But no, as I was saying, I really hope that they aren't going to try and make wholesale changes to Shadow because of all the backlash they've been getting about Yasuke. Look, I've made my thoughts clear. I think it defeats the purpose of an Assassin's Creed game if we're just going to make a person from history into an Assassin's Creed protagonist. I think they should have, if they wanted to go with the female ninja angle, fine. Make it a female ninja. Let it, let it be a person within this culture. Like, if you wanted us to play as Yasuke, add Yasuke DLC, or, like, there are ways they could have done this and not pissed people off. But instead, they take, ooh, it's Assassin's Creed set in Japan. Yeah, the setting that fans have been wanting for so long now. And then you have to go, yeah, but you're not playing as a Japanese samurai or whatever. No, black guy, because now we got to be controversial. Like, you had to have known this was going to cause a shitstorm. And not just we're going to own the chuds, or whatever the fuck they call conservatives, or just about anybody who's just like, wait a minute, why am I playing as why am I playing as this character instead of a Japanese person? Every game we've played somebody of, the relevant culture that we're exploring. We played as Middle Eastern in the first game, Italian in the second. Again, Italian in Brotherhood. Revelations was a little different, but it was kind of the end of Ezio's story and him reconnecting with the Brotherhood, so he kind of went back to its roots, so that one kind of made sense. Got to play as a Native American character in the third game, which was actually really interesting to see the Civil War, Jesus Christ, to see the Revolutionary War cult from that perspective, even though we didn't get as much of the revolution. I have problems with what 3 was told, but that's beside the point. English pirate made perfect sense. French guy, English twins in a game set in England. We had the Egyptian Bayek, the Greek Cassandra, the Nordic Eivor, whichever. Granted, that one was in England, but it's Vikings.
Why do I get the feeling you didn't
but
really
this
need
one,
this thing to boost my bike?
Portuguese slave.
Well, I could have used something
Set
off the
in
shelf,
Japan.
but this accelerator will give you a much stronger kick.
Really?
I'll be the judge of that.
It's one of those things that the only it's not like you chose, ooh, well, this is going to be such a unique perspective of, no, you maybe pick one of, like, the indigenous tribes out of, if you wanted to do something, like one of the indigenous tribes up out of, up in Hokkaido, if you want to kind of have the outside perspective inside feudal Japan, but yeah, I don't think that would have worked. Oh yeah, we can also, I took forever to get this lock to work. I mean, Assassin's Creed Shadow is also going to have to now compete with Ghost of Yatai, which actually is kind of doing the northern Hokkaido sort of vibe. If I'm remembering correctly, I believe Yatai is the northern part of Japan, so we might be seeing some of the, like I said, the northern tribes up there. I'm not sure if tribes is the proper term for them, but I think it is. I've been reading a lot of Golden Kamui. Read that. It is a really good manga. That's where I was going with this. Essentially, my point is, there were indigenous tribes, and there were ways you could have told a Japanese story from an outsider perspective without having to literally play as a foreigner. And then to also have the first historical character that we're going to play as have somebody whose history is extremely dubious. I know, it's, you know, people are like, oh, but he was real. Okay, the question is not whether Yasuke was real, it's whether he was a samurai, what was his true position in history, because they're very scant, as far as I understand it, extremely scant records of who and what he did. He's very, very sparsely mentioned in history. It's, you know, it's one of those situations that every time I bring this up, you knew this was going to cause fucking problems. And I still have to ask the question, what is with every time, ooh, we're going to put a black character in a game, why do they always have to have dreadlocks? Or, you know, braids of some sort? I don't get it. Why? Well, I know why. It's because people make these games are extremely racist in and of themselves, but that's... Yeah, it's like, you know... Again, it's, oh, well, he's black. I'm like, well, yeah, but he... I'm not sure when Yasuke, because, again, his history is saying it extremely thin by his... You know, his history and his place in recorded history is giant, is maybe even a stretch. But, you know, we know that he came to Japan as a Portuguese slave, or a sailor, but most likely slave. Okay. And then essentially Oda Nobunaga bought him. And then he was a retainer for Oda because Oda kind of was a bit of a nut job, as far as I understand it. You know, he was kept around as an oddity for Oda. You know, and we really don't know. You know, then the question is, oh, well, he became a samurai after being in Oda's under his service. We know he was essentially a bodyguard, maybe, but there's no message that he was brought into the samurai class, and it just all those questions. But essentially, what I'm saying is, we don't, you know, they're trying to act like, oh, well, he's African. I'm like, well, okay, but I mean, if he was, you know, enslaved as a child, which I can't believe I have to say this, is obviously not good. You know, the fact that people are like, oh my gosh, you won't say that it's not good. Well, of course it's not good, but it's the historical facts. If he was enslaved as a child, I would say he'd probably be more culturally Portuguese than he would African. But just because you're African doesn't mean you're wearing braids. Just because you're African doesn't mean all the fucking rap music in the or the hip hop in the trailers, like you know, he pulls his sword and then it's like suddenly they start striking up a beat and playing hip hop music mixed with some Japanese music.
Like this place can't run
really?
I told
That's
you it has some
extremely
serious
racist.
And hey,
Just because
with
he's
the winds back
black
to their
doesn't
natural
mean
course,
he's
you'll have a way out.
American. This sounds weird when I say it. American black. You know, because again, black American culture is not the same as African culture, which is not the same as this culture. It's I don't know. I see it and go. I mean,
Nothing's broken,
that's just.
I think.
It's weirdly racist, in my opinion. And I don't like throwing that term about, but it's really weird that this group is doing that. Is trying to play into that stereotype.
Hit that button,
just
Nix.
I sit and I scratch my head about it. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just going off into rants of a whole bunch of crap. I'm just seeing here if we're back at the start. Yes, we're back at the start. We're climbing up to that first group of fans that was causing me a problem. So essentially what I'm ranting about here is, look, Ubisoft had to have known that this was going to cause waves, and I can't believe they thought it would work. It would work out in their favor. This whole Yasuke situation. I think the best way to include him in the game, let him be a contact or somebody already in the order and be a mentor to our character or something like that. If you wanted to do it, it still, I don't think, would have gone over well. But, okay, fine. I think it would have worked better than what they did. But, nope. Wholesale. We got to make him we got to make him a main character. And then we got to, like I said, play all the random hip-hop music, which still, I do not understand. You know, they were kind of doing the same thing with Gladiator 2. Because every time that you see, because, you know, they were doing that with the trailer, where they're playing this, like, pseudo hip-hop and really featuring Denzel Washington in that trailer, and it makes you just kind of ask...
Whoa, Nix, you hanging on back there?
I don't know, it just makes you go, why? Why are you doing that? I don't know. It's very, very, very frustrating, in my opinion. Okay, I accidentally left a chunk in there, so sorry about that weird cut, or where I just kind of stopped talking about whatever I was talking about. No, just all in all, I think Ubisoft just made bad decisions, and now, you know, I'm not even going to go into the whole thing with what they were connected with, what they connected with Sweet Baby Inc. and all that shit. The whole thing, it's fallen apart, and frankly, at this point, I think we should all dance in the embers of the burning company.
I never should have made this. At least now, it'll be used for something good.
Good is a bit of a stretch.
Well, I like you a lot more than I like the Empire. Where's your speeder?
Did anyone else get that?
Here,
get that feeling there?
You're all set. Bet it's strong enough to ride double now.
Huh. Really?
I meant your little pet there.
Yeah, me too. That's what I meant.
What?
Thanks.
What is
I
that?
should go.
See you around, Kay.
And will you? You're not... whatever. Again, did anyone get some weird sexual tension there? I don't know. It was weird. It feels unnecessary for it to be there. So now we activated a turbo or a speed boost. Yeah, jump 60 meters. Yeah, you're seeing all the... For some reason, Treasure Hunter is in the mechanic skill tree. Oh, yeah, Smoke Bomb. So yeah, well guys, next video we'll do the Splicer.
Now, this is more like
the Splicer subquests and get his stuff going. Thanks for watching as always. Social media down in the description. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you all in the next one. Until then, I'm out.